What about the striker search? I mean, there was talk that they were in for Ekitike. He's going to Liverpool. From the ones that are left, Sam, there's he talks Benjamin Sesko, Nicholas Jackson's been mentioned, Ollie Watkins. Apologies to bring him into it, but do you think that Manchester United will push for a striker? I saw someone suggesting just play Cunha as the 9. What are your thoughts? I mean, they've got a couple there, haven't they, as well already? Young players who can play there.
Yeah, I mean, don't buy Cunha for £62.5 million and then just shove him up front when he's barely played there in the last year and has clearly excelled as a kind of floating 10, which United literally used 2 of. So I'm pleased to see that they're up for a 9. I wondered if they'd leave it and think with the support of Mbeumo and Cunha and Bruno Fernandes and Amad Diallo fit again, with all those 4 scoring goals, would the burden on the striker become a little less and would they thrive as a result? It looks like they're not willing to take that risk, and it looks like they are at least going to try. I'll ask the question on a few of these players. So Sesko, expensive, young, from abroad. Ultimately, I have no issue with that in a vacuum, but the last couple that United have tried really haven't worked out, and I think they should probably look at something a little bit safer. So your low-risk, low-cost option here is probably Ollie Watkins, isn't he? But of course, he's significantly older. He's 7 years older than Sesko and 5 years older than Nicholas Jackson. So it's no long-term solution. That can be okay if you're just trying to get a shot in the arm, which is seemingly what they're doing here with Mbeumo and Cunha. But Nicholas Jackson, I mean, Darmish, you may correct me, the price I've seen reported in terms of Chelsea's asking price, somewhere between 80 and 100 million.
Yeah, we're always talking about how the market is set. So Chelsea are looking at Ekitike. Well, if he's £69 million basic plus £10 million in add-ons, well, so is Nicholas Jackson. And you know what? Chelsea will have every right to say that because Nicholas Jackson has got Premier League experience. He's scored goals in the Premier League. Ekitike hasn't. So why shouldn't Chelsea value the player in that way? What I would say, the priority for Manchester United right now, once they got the Mbeumo deal done, is sales. They need to get sales to be able to fund further investment in this transfer window.
Any sales close, finally, Doms?
Well, I mean, Rashford one is that's one down of the 5. The other 4 we're talking about: Alejandro Garnacho, Jadon Sancho, Tyrell Malacia, and Anthony. There's interest in all of them. Juventus still pursuing a deal for Jadon Sancho, but rather like Manchester United's pursuit of a striker, Juventus are in that position where now that they've effectively signed Francisco Conceição, to bring in someone like Sancho, they would have to make sales. They're working on sales of Timothy Weah to Marseille, and Nico Gonzalez as well is of interest to Atletico Madrid, I think. So they're trying to make these sales to be able to get this Sancho deal done. I don't think with regard to Sancho, the biggest issue is going to be the transfer fee, because I think they'll be able to negotiate that with United. Simply because if you look at the Rashford option price, United have come down to £26 million. I think they were asking £25 million of Chelsea when they had an obligation to buy. It probably won't go as high as that if Juventus are coming in for someone like Sancho, because it feels like United have made the decision behind the scenes. If we take the hit on certain players, we're just going to have to do it, because there's no way for us to move forward unless we have got these players out and I've got the players that I want in the club. So Sancho and Juventus, that one is live. We do know Real Betis still want Anthony. There is other interest in him from a number of other clubs, but he wants to go to Betis. Of course, after last season's performance, Betis are desperate to sign him. Again, the finances could prove to be an issue. Is it going to be another loan? Would United insist that that loan comes with an obligation? So that's another issue there. Garnacho, we think, wants to stay in the Premier League. Chelsea are definitely interested in Garnacho. And I think Malacia will get a move somewhere. I mean, it didn't work out for him as
be steadfast and stubborn in their approach to this. They had a figure in mind and they said, we are not going to go anywhere below that. And finally, the two clubs have met, and it is a deal worth £71 million.